Hello. In my idea book, I got started writing a list of sacrifices I believe God wants us to make and ones He doesn't want us to make. And I got thinking about, like, just what humanity should expect from each other. I mean, separate from what we believe God wants, and we should look up to people who make appropriate sacrifices. We should, not make fun of people. We should look up to them. Examples of sacrifices that are noble, commendable. A soldier in a war. He volunteers that he might die in the war. That's a great sacrifice. A sacrifice definitely worthy of being put on the good list, the good sacrifice list. Some people sacrifice luxuries to live within their means. They drive a used car, they take the bus. That's a good sacrifice. We should look up to those people. Some people are athletes and they sacrifice time with friends or being a glutton and becoming so overweight that they are not as good of an athlete as they would otherwise be. There was a Met RX strongman competition person who pointed out that he doesn't do a lot of things with his friends, so he makes sure he has time to exercise and make his body as strong as he can make it, so he might one day win that competition. Yeah, so those are good sacrifices. As a society, are there sacrifices we should expect from people? Oh yes, there are certain jobs that just are going to have risk. And so, when somebody is going to school, they might need to sacrifice having fun, or to afford school, sacrifice luxuries. Those are good sacrifices. There are some jobs that just going to have certain risks with those, and if you sign up for that job, it's reasonable to expect you to make certain sacrifices as a society. Now, it's possible to take that to an extreme point where you're making unreasonable demands. I have heard callers to radio talk shows act like police officers have to try to fight with people and risk getting their brains beat out. No, that's what a boxer does, not a police officer. So a police officer, society should not expect a police officer to, try to fight with everyone all the time, get close to people that when you don't need to, or charge somebody who's shooting at them. It's okay for police to shoot sometimes. Not saying every shooting has always been justified, but there are extremists who hate cops who want police, they'll accuse cops of being cowards or weak or something like that. If a police officer has shot somebody high on drugs instead of trying to out-wrestle somebody who's amped up on PCP or something like that. Or, accuse an officer of being a coward for not taking on fighting somebody who's got him by a lot of weight. That's a certain death if you're, fighting somebody in the street who's way bigger than you. At the same time, if you signed up to be a police officer, you volunteered for that job, you should go arrest somebody if there's a warrant for them and not say, I don't want to arrest somebody today. Police departments have policies to strike that perfect balance. Police have to go out to the calls, they have to find the criminals, but police departments do send the police in groups, especially if there's a high-risk situation. If you signed up for a job at at your nation's border, port of entry. Your job is to talk to people entering the country to figure out if there's somebody who's got bad intentions or who is inadmissible. Figure out if there's somebody bringing illegal things in or lying to avoid import taxes. If you got a job like that, you should not expect to not have to talk to people. There's a limit to how much protection you should demand from people breathing in your direction and coughing the flu on you. If you really are that phobic of germs that you demand to be put into a little glass box like a movie theater ticket window with, just a little tiny hole in it, you shouldn't have a job working as a person doing that. At your country's border agency, talking to the people to figure out if they get to come into the country or not. Your job is to talk to people. Talk to people. Don't demand, to be surrounded, put into a little glass cube. If you don't want to talk to people, don't sign up for that job. Be a prison guard. Corrections officers don't have to talk to a lot of people, and it's the same inmates all the time. So if you've got an extreme germophobia, you're worried about the next pandemic killing you, then don't get a job working for your nation's border agency, and be a corrections officer, be a prison guard, be a nighttime security guard somewhere where there's nobody around. But it's reasonable for society to expect you to make the sacrifice, is it really that much of a sacrifice, of being at risk of somebody breathing the next flu onto you if you volunteer for that job to be the one talking to people re-entering your country or entering your country to figure out if they get in or not. Now, last but not least, one example of a sacrifice that's not a praiseworthy sacrifice, should not be encouraged at all. And recently there's been a news story where there's a woman who is boxing in men's divisions, men's boxing, against men. And I'm not outing somebody's private information. It was in a news story, and she gave an interview to some news reporters. So she was saying that some friends have told her that she could be like the women's champion if she would just box as a woman. But she's boxing as a man. Why would somebody do that? Well, I'm confused why somebody would want to be a boxer. I would strongly discourage that. I'm not a boxing fan because boxers literally get their brains beat out. You're authorizing somebody to punch you in the head if you are a boxer, and punches in the head, especially from strong people who practice punching and keep their bodies strong, will cause brain damage. But if you're going to box, why not try to be a champion? It's because this person thinks that she is making a sacrifice. When she's not making a sacrifice anyone should be encouraging. She's trying to be a martyr where there is no martyr needed. She should be true to herself, be what she really is, and be the women's boxing champion. If she's going to be a boxer. Thank you for watching my thoughts about this, and you have a good day.